Have you ever wondered why a soggy potato chip feels like a personal betrayal? Think about it. The chemical composition hasn't changed. It has the same amount of salt, the same amount of fat, and the same caloric density as its crispy counterpart. Your tongue is sending the exact same signals to your brain, and yet the moment that expected snap is replaced by a silent, leathery chew, your brain rejects it. You lose your appetite. You might even feel a flicker of disgust. Most people believe we eat with our eyes and our tongues. We've been told since childhood that flavor is a dialogue between the taste buds and the nose. But here's what nobody tells you. Your ears are the secret judges of every meal you eat. There is a fascinating experiment in the world of gastrophysics called the sonic chip. Researchers found that if you put someone in a soundproof room, give them a fresh, crisp chip, but play a muffled, dampened version of the crunch through their headphones, they will swear the chip is stale. Their brain literally overrides the physical sensation in their mouth because the audio doesn't match the video. We aren't just chewing, we are listening. We are constantly monitoring a frequency, a sonic seasoning, that dictates whether a food is vibrant and alive or old and dangerous. You see, the crunch isn't just a texture, it's a message. It's a high-frequency signal that bypasses your conscious thought and talks directly to your oldest, most primal instincts. If your meal is silent, your brain assumes something is wrong. It assumes the life has left the food. In this video, we're going to peel back the layers of your skull to understand why your brain is addicted to certain decibels. We're going to explore how your jawbone acts as a tuning fork and why the food industry spends millions of dollars just to make sure a cracker breaks at the perfect pitch. If you've felt this pull before, you're not alone. Stick with me, because what I'm about to show you will change how you look at your next meal forever. To understand why your brain lights up like a Christmas tree when you hear a crunch, we have to travel back, way back. Imagine yourself standing in a lush green forest 10,000 years ago. You don't have a grocery store with best before dates. You don't have a refrigerator. All you have are your senses to tell you if the thing you're about to put in your mouth will give you life or give you a lethal case of food poisoning. In this wild world, sound was the ultimate quality control inspector. Think about a fresh stalk of wild celery or a crisp piece of fruit. In nature, a crunch is the sound of water being held under high pressure inside a plant's cells. When you bite down, those tiny water-filled balloons pop all at once. To our ancestors, that high-frequency sound was a biological green light. It signaled that the food was fresh, full of hydration, and, most importantly, packed with nutrients. Now think about the alternative. What happens when a plant starts to rot? It loses its water. The cell walls collapse and become soft. It becomes silent. In the ancestral environment, soft and mushy were the sounds of decay. Silence meant that bacteria had already moved in and started the process of fermentation or mold. If a leaf didn't snap, it was old. If a fruit was silent and squishy, it was dangerous. Our brains developed a deep-seated subconscious preference. High-frequency sounds equal safety, low-frequency or silent textures equal risk. But it goes even deeper than plants. Some evolutionary psychologists believe our love for the crunch comes from our history as insect eaters. Before we were hunters of mammoths, our ancestors relied heavily on large, protein-rich insects. The crack of an exoskeleton was the sound of a high-protein prize. That snap released a hit of dopamine because it meant the hunt was successful and the reward was calorie-dense. We are the descendants of the people who listened to their food. The ones who ignored the crunch and ate the silent, mushy plants didn't survive to pass on their genes. You carry that ancient survival code in your DNA. Every time you reach for something crispy, you aren't just looking for a snack. You are fulfilling an ancient instinct to seek out the freshest, safest, and most energy-packed fuel available in the wild. So, how does this ancient code actually run on your modern biological hardware? To understand that, you have to stop thinking of your head as just a face and start thinking of it as a finely tuned acoustic machine. specifically a machine that uses its own frame to broadcast a private concert every time you bite down. Have you ever noticed how loud a carrot sounds inside your own head? But to the person sitting across from you, it's just a faint, rhythmic clicking? This is due to a phenomenon called bone conduction. When you bite into something crunchy, the vibrations don't just travel through the air to reach your ears, they take a shortcut. The vibrations travel directly through your teeth and your jawbone, vibrating your skull and hitting your inner ear with incredible speed and intensity. This is internal sound, and it is far more powerful than anything we hear from the outside world. Think of your brain as an ancient sonar machine. It is constantly scanning for signals of high-quality energy. When that high-frequency snap vibrates through your jaw, it's like a mechanical sensor being triggered. This specific frequency, the crackle, tells the brain that the food is complex and dense. But there's a catch. Our brains are also designed to habituate to flavors. This is why the 10th bite of a steak never tastes as explosive as the first. Your tongue gets bored. However, the brain finds it much harder to get bored of sound. Researchers have found that adding a loud crunch to a food can actually delay the feeling of being full. The sound keeps the brain's alertness system active, tricking the machine into thinking it's still finding new, exciting information with every bite. Your brain isn't just counting calories, it's measuring the decibels of the sonic seasoning. The louder and more frequent the pops are, the more your internal reward system, driven by a chemical called dopamine, convinces you to take just one more bite. You aren't just eating, you are playing a biological slot machine where every crunch is a winning spin. If this deep dive into your own biology is making sense to you, hit that like button. It helps our community grow and ensures more people understand the code behind their cravings. Now here is where our story takes a darker turn. We have this beautiful, ancient biological radar system designed to help us find life-sustaining nutrients. But in the 21st century, someone else has found the manual to your brain, and they are using it to hack your ears. Enter the world of sonic engineering. Inside the high-tech laboratories of big food, scientists aren't just testing for the perfect amount of salt or sugar. They are sitting in acoustic chambers with sensitive laboratory-grade microphones, measuring the exact frequency and decibel level of a potato chip's break. They use a tool called the Vickers scale. Originally, this was a test used by engineers to measure the hardness of minerals and metals. Today, it's used to calculate the fracture force of your snack. Why? Because food architects have discovered a biological sweet spot. If a snack is too hard, your brain registers it as work and you stop eating. If it's too soft, your brain registers it as stale or rotting and you stop eating. But if they can engineer a texture that requires exactly 4 kilograms of pressure to break, releasing a sharp, high-frequency crack at precisely 2 kilohertz, they trigger a dopamine flood that bypasses your stomach's fullness sensors entirely. This is the ultimate sabotage. In nature, a crunch was a promise. It promised water, vitamins, and freshness. The industry has decoupled that promise from the reality. They've created what I call the phantom crunch. They give your brain the high-frequency audio signal of a fresh, water-rich plant, but deliver the chemical reality of dry starch, salt, and industrial oils. Your brain is literally tricked into thinking it's eating something vibrant and healthy. And because the nutrition never actually arrives, the sonar machine in your head keeps pinging. It tells you to take another bite, and another, searching for the nutrients that the sound promised. You don't finish the bag because you're hungry. You finish the bag because you are waiting for a biological promise that was never meant to be kept. You are trapped in an acoustic loop, chasing a ghost. So, where does this leave us? Is every crunch a trap? Not necessarily. Once you understand that your ears are just another sensory gateway, you can stop being a victim of sonic engineering and start being the conductor of your own biological orchestra. The first step is moving from guilt to understanding. If you find yourself unable to stop eating a certain snack, it's not because you lack willpower. It's because your brain is currently being flooded with a high-frequency promise of freshness that the food isn't actually delivering. You are simply a biological machine reacting to a very clever hack. When you realize this, you can reclaim the crunch. The goal is to realign your ears with your body's needs. Instead of looking for that snap in a silver bag, look for it in the earth. A crisp apple, a fresh stalk of celery, or a handful of raw nuts provides the same high-frequency dopamine hit, but with a crucial difference. The promise is kept. Not when your brain hears the pop of a fresh vegetable, and then your stomach actually receives the water, fiber, and vitamins it expected, the reward system shuts off naturally. You feel full because the cycle, the audio-visual nutrient loop, is complete. This is the art of mindful crunching. Listen to your food. Notice the difference between the mechanical sound of a processed cracker and the organic snap of a garden-fresh carrot. One is a ghost, the other is a gift. By paying attention to the acoustics of your meal, you aren't just eating, you are practicing gastrophysics. You are decoding the ancient language of your survival. You can enjoy the symphony of the crunch without being played by the composer. Next time you sit down to eat, take off your headphones. Silence the TV. Just for a moment, you listen to the conversation between your jaw and your brain. It's a story 10,000 years in the making, and if you want to keep decoding the mysteries of your own mind, subscribe. There are many more biological secrets waiting to be translated.